What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Tim in Green Bay here to talk about the 53-man roster reveal. Got a bunch of news, notes, things like that to kind of get us set up to dissect this roster breakdown. Really, really interesting, man. Had a couple surprises. I heard somebody say, "Oh, there was no surprise on this." I'm like, "Well, there was a few for me. Maybe I missed your all's article predicting it like this." But a lot of stuff to talk about for sure. Before we get into it, though, if you guys would, let's do that YouTube stuff. Click like, click subscribe. If you're new here, thanks for making us a part of your evening. Listen, here at PTA, we're not experts, we're not insiders, we're not media members. We are fans just like you here talking Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for daily Packers content, make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live as well. We're showing a bad connection here. Hopefully that'll clean up. I'm going to see if I can fix what's going on there. They may have changed the settings on us. I think we're good. All right. So, gents, how we doing? What's your initial thoughts on the 53? Obviously, we'll break it down position by position, but how we feeling about this today, guys?
A couple surprises, but I don't think anything we were completely caught off guard by, right? I was a little caught off guard by 9 offensive linemen. Thought we were gonna maybe go 10, maybe go 9. Turned out I might have been a little bit right in my prediction that we'd go with 9. But all in all, I think this initial 53 looks really good. Obviously, pending any changes that'll happen in the next few days, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, Jacob, what do you think, man?
I mean, there was definitely a few surprises there. Keeping 4 tight ends, didn't have that on my bingo card, which I understand as to why they did.
Ben Sims, baby, Ben Sims. Let's go.
It. I love both Sims and Fitz. I think that it's going to be great. And then Micah Robinson and Kamal Hadden for sure over King. That one was definitely a little bit of a surprise to me as well. But, we'll get into it here.
Yeah, so it looks like StreamYard, and one thing I didn't check before we went live, they rechecked the recording tabs for us. So that's why our connection is showing bad. It's trying to record every individual webcam here.
You hear that, Jacob? It's recording every individual webcam.
Yeah. So everybody in the chat, just make sure we let me know, confirm, does the stream look okay, if you don't mind. I'd rather start over if it looks glitchy or bad or anything. Does everything look good on your all's end, fellas? We good?
Yeah, you look great. As always, Clayton.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the guy.
So full of crap. All right, let's get into it, guys. Well, Deadfish, what do you say? Yeah, King released, but we kept 6 cornerbacks. The 6 cornerbacks was a little bit odd to me. That's one of the things that caught me off guard. Was like, I felt like we could have probably, honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd have kept 4. You know what I mean? Seeing that they decided to cut Kalen King and probably going to try to get him to the practice squad, I would have been okay with trying to get all 3 of them through waivers, but it's obvious that they thought Hadden was a little more valuable than maybe we did going in for sure. So let's just get into it, man. You guys can check this article out over at our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Got a couple of other notes in here. Just basically went through and had AI comb through the internet, anything that we may or may not have missed here earlier as the cuts came in. So let's just dive into it, man. Roster reduction overview. The Green Bay Packers reduced their roster to 53 players on Tuesday as a part of the NFL mandated reductions. The team can begin building its practice squad after the waiver process concludes at 11 a.m. Central on Wednesday. So we'll be doing this show tomorrow night, talking about everybody that's getting put on the practice squad. Obviously, everybody's got to clear waivers first and foremost. So the initial 2025 season roster breakdown is listed position by position based on unofficial depth chart, including players kept, released, or placed on injured reserve. I want to hit this real quick before we get into the roster itself. There's a new rule this year, according to AI and what it pulled off the internet. So in past years, teams had to carry players on the initial 53 if they wanted to start them on injured reserve, but designate them to return during the season. Teams can now designate 2 players during cuts to return from IR during the season without keeping them on the initial 53, and instead use those active roster spots on healthy players instead of subjecting them to waivers or free agency. Those two will still count toward the 8 total slots teams have to designate players to return from IR during the season. The Packers used their 2 slots on running back Marshawn Lloyd, who suffered a hamstring injury against the Colts in the second preseason game, and offensive lineman Jacob Monk, who suffered a hamstring injury in Indianapolis. Both Lloyd and Monk will be eligible to return in week 5. So that was one of the big surprises. When I heard people earlier saying, no real surprises here. I'm like, I didn't hear anybody saying Jacob Monk was hurt. Did you guys hear anything about Jacob Monk potentially going on IR?
Nope.
Yeah, same here. So with that being said,
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
With that being said, that's one of the big surprises for me. Although you guys know I was kind of in the camp of Monk didn't show me really anything this offseason. You know what I mean? This, through OTAs up until, training camp and obviously in the preseason as well. I kind of felt like put him on the practice squad. It seems like they felt like, hey, let's put him on our. And you know what, Tim? Maybe this is why Monk looked so bad. Maybe this is why he was struggling. Maybe there was an injury that we didn't know about because although the coaches will mention injuries throughout the training camp process, they don't have to list an official injury report, right? So maybe they were kind of keeping that close to the vest. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Chestnut checkers. We talk about that all the time, right? Kind of flew under the radar. He could be dealing with something nagging, but clearly they see something in Monk, So I don't know. I don't want to speculate again. I'm not a doctor.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. What about you, Jake? Did that catch you off guard any at all about Jacob Monk, or was there something I was missing there?
It definitely did catch me off guard. I saw in the chat that I think J. Cole said that Herman had mentioned it. I don't know if that was recently or if that was, like you said, a known thing, but I have to, I'm never going to talk smack about a Packer player or whatever, but I wish I saw more out of Monk. I had a little high hopes for him, really did, to kind of maybe even slip into that center role and we wouldn't have to force Alton to get there kind of thing when we first originally brought him on the team. So I don't know. It's going to be odd. So he's week 4, right? Both him and Lloyd are designated to return after week 4. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, to return in week 5, according to this here. So
which is a bye week for us, which means extra rehab.
Right.
Let's
That's
go.
Great.
You guys, initially I didn't like that bye week right in week 5, but this kind of plays into our hand a little bit.
Feels like the stars are aligning a little bit here, right?
Let's go ahead, Jacob. Didn't mean to cut you off, bud.
No, you're good. I feel like we should talk about, does the Marshawn Lloyd thing, I've seen so much hate he's getting on Packers Twitters or Packers Facebook pages and that kind of stuff. I saw one really, I only have I think it's the diehard Facebook page fan or something like that they were just saying how basically like we got to ride with the guy, he's a Packer, but it is tough to kind of keep putting your all your eggs in that basket. But at the same time, man, what we've seen from him when he's on the field, I'm really impressed. Like I actually really to the point where I want to keep giving him a chance, and hopefully maybe he just like we had some certain types of injuries in the past few years, and we kind of changed up the way that we did some conditioning and some strength training and that sort of stuff. Like if there's a way to get this guy on the field, he definitely helps our team, Yeah,
definitely, man. And again, this is the same stuff they said about Christian Watson too, man. It's like there's a certain portion of the fan base that they just want to pile on players when they get hurt, and there's no one who's more devastated or aggravated or upset about it than the players that are hurt, especially somebody like Marshawn Lloyd, who's trying to prove his worth because he knows if all of a sudden he goes into year 3 and he's got this injury prone tag on him, then it's going to really, really play into the next contract he may get, right? Or may not get, for that matter. So I don't understand fans that try to pile onto that. You could talk about it. There's nothing wrong with having a conversation about it. Hey man, this guy's been bitten by the injury bug. But to sit here and pretend like it's something that's just absolutely devastating and it ruins their experience as a fan, knowing damn well that player and their family are the ones that experiencing the worst of it. I've got to the point where I just tune it out. Like you lose your fan card with me, man, when you try to pile on a player that's went out there time and time again and try to make it happen and just had the unfortunate luck of getting hurt. Now, if you find out that somebody's faking an injury, isn't it funny too? God, I'm going to go on a rant. I can't believe this. We didn't even get to the roster yet. Isn't it funny how the people that get upset over these players getting hurt, right? And they act like it's just ruined their experience as a fan, are the same ones that are screaming, trade the farm, sell the farm for Micah Parsons, who's faking an injury right now, taking a nap
Don't
on a
worry,
training
nobody's
table.
listening anyway.
And the people that come at you and go, well, no, he's really hurt and he was on the trainer table. He chose that moment to lay down on a training table rather than be involved in the practice and be a part, helping your teammates if you plan on getting a contract. It's just, I don't know, man. That stuff rubs me the wrong way because camaraderie matters, man. Chemistry matters in the locker room. And just to try to pretend like, well, he's good at football, so let's put all that to the side and there's going to be a separate set of rules for this player. It's mind-boggling to me. But anyway, let's move on to the roster itself here. All right, let's start with quarterbacks. I'll try to get this zoomed in here. No surprise at all here. Quarterbacks, they kept 2, Jordan Love and Malik Willis. They released Sean Clifford and Taylor Elgersma. Now we find out tomorrow if both clear waivers. And if both do clear waivers, do both of them go back on the practice squad, or did you just choose one? I know Matt Schneiden last night, we covered his article. He seemed to think that you would get both of them back on the practice squad. You'd have Sean Clifford in case of an emergency and Taylor Elgersma for the potential upside. Jacob, what do you think about that? Obviously, no surprises here with the quarterback room.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said it this morning in the group chat, I just have a sneaking suspicion that somebody's going to look at Elgersma and what he put on film and think, hey, this guy's got some moxie. You know, he's got the size. He's a little more athletic than I think people give him credit for. Obviously, some of the accolades that he gained in Canada. That one would worry me. You know, like I love all the Packers players, always will. But at this point, I just feel like that he makes more sense for the future of the team than Clifford does. But I'd love to have them both back. You know, that's kind of where I stand with that, though.
Got it. Tim,
I agree with Jacob to an extent, but I also think these practice squad spots are valuable, and ultimately, maybe only one of them makes it there.
Yeah.
You know, I think we might carry 3 altogether, and I would agree that you know, you can put Taylor Elgersma on the practice squad, but you know, there is some tape on him. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's a big body, tall frame quarterback. You know, still kind of learning the American football ways of playing this game, but certainly looked good. Certainly looked good throwing touchdowns to my boy Will Shepherd. You know, I'll just say that. So I think there's truth to the fact that maybe there's a team out there that might snatch him up. But either way, if that's the case, you feel good about Clifford as your practice squad QB. You know, it's the J Money and Malik Willis show going forward. No problems there, right?
Yeah.
Ron Sample says Canada will clear waivers, in my opinion. I could see him clearing waivers for sure. And again, I just don't see another – I don't see another team going, yep, we're putting him on our 53. He's going to be our second quarterback.
Right.
You know, having such little experience at the NFL level, you know. Now, if the Packers wait until waivers clear and then they try to wait 2 or 3 days before they sign them, I could see another team stashing them on their practice squad, right? I could definitely see that happening for sure. So somebody else had a comment on it here too. Jay Cole said, can we bring in another third quarterback? I wouldn't rule that out, Jay. If a player, you know, like we talked about Hendon Hooker, right? Hendon Hooker, if I remember correctly, I can't remember where he was drafted, what pick, but he was a top 30 visit for the Packers, and the Lions cut him loose. Anyone who watched him play at Tennessee his final year in college, really, really impressed. But being down here in the middle of all country, we knew firsthand that, man, that's kind of the Josh Heupel system, man. It can make quarterbacks look really, really good. It's a system that they like to run a lot of Baylor splits and do a lot of RPO out of, that type of thing. And what that allows you to do is have a lot. You can run into a light box with the running back, and the throws are a high efficiency throws, easy throws to make, and it really limits the interception count as well. So that can inflate people's numbers. But obviously, he wasn't good enough for Detroit to keep around there. And
Clayton,
I'm glad Emilio's – go ahead, man. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Not So Cool has a suggestion or wants to know if we can't show, or if we could not show the next positional group, let it be suspense. So I think a lot of these people really haven't seen anything yet. So we don't want to ruin the surprise, like scrolling. So you know what I'm saying?
Okay, zooming in a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
Got it.
Hi, Emilio.
Hi. How are we?
Emilio, I need you to do me a favor, okay?
What's up?
Stop texting us when you're in the shower. I seen your text message. I looked down at the phone and it said, "Hey man, I'm in the shower. I'll be there in a second." Appreciate that, Bob. Appreciate that. Let's move it along. Running backs. They kept 3, no surprise here. They kept Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Brooks. Injured reserve / designated return is Marshawn Lloyd. Okay. Released, obviously, Izzy Abanikanda, Amar Johnson, and Tyrion Davis Price. Now, the question becomes, do you try to fit 2 of those on the practice squad? I don't see a scenario where Tyrion Davis Price makes a practice squad. I could be wrong, but I definitely want Amar Johnson on there. That's my guy. You guys know I've been very vocal about that, although it seems like everybody else in the sports media that I've been listening to, around Green Bay Sports Talk, they seem to like Izzy a lot more than Amar. Am I the only one that sees it as Amar being significantly better, or do you guys maybe see that extra added value in Israel? We'll start with you there, Emilio.
I was leaning on Amar, but I guess we'll see once waivers comes around. But I was leaning on Amar. I mean, you gave him a couple more opportunities. I'm really just honestly happy with the 3 we do have. Right, I think that was kind of an easier one, especially with Marshawn Lloyd getting hurt. It was like, oh yeah, I'm totally fine with Josh Emmanuel and Chris Brooks. That's a perfect 3. And like Jacob was saying earlier, the 4 tight ends is, I think, what kind of surprised me, but leads me to believe that, hey, we're leaning into 13 personnel for the first 4 weeks and go from there.
Yeah,
I agree. I think maybe Izzy Abanikanda has maybe a slight edge just because of the special team factor. I think maybe, emergency return guy in a pinch. But Amar Johnson looked really good. So, I mean, it's a tough call. I think at least one might end up on the squad, right?
Yeah.
I have to agree. I think that Izzy, the way that they just seem to really like him returning kits is – you good, Emilio?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I seen it too, Emilio. Just ignore it.
The way that they seem to trust him returning.
You think God never farted?
I think that does maybe just give him a little bit of a hair of an inch on him, I guess. But I really liked what I saw out of Amar Johnson. He just seemed like he kind of reminds me a lot more of like Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah, it looks like Joseph likes Izzy. I see Holmes said he agreed with me. He thought Amar Johnson was better. Deadfish comes in here with the facts that we all need. Hendon Hooker was the 68th player taken in the 2023 draft. So again, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he's available and multiple teams go out and offer him a practice squad spot. I think I would rather have Hendon Hooker as my practice squad QB than the other 2, or at least one of the other 2. Personally, to me, he's got more talent than Sean Clifford, but he's got to learn the offense too. And we know there's going to be a curve there. Obviously, that's something that comes into factor too. So, and again, I don't hate Sean Clifford or anything like that, but when you're talking about getting a top 100 player that you had in for a top 30 visit, albeit maybe the top 30 visit didn't go well for the Packers, so could have been. So, right. All right. Anything else on running backs? Was we good there?
Good.
All right, let's move it along. Wide receivers, we have trying to keep it to where it don't. There we go. Mission accomplished.
This receiving is tough.
So we got 6 players. All right, they kept Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, Matthew Golden, Malik Heath, and Savion Williams. Physically unable to perform, Christian Watson, so he goes on the PUP list. Released McCole Hardman, Julian Hicks, Cornelius Johnson, Will Shepard, and Isaiah Nair. Now the question is, how many of those guys return back to the practice squad? Do you bring 2 back? You bring 3 back? Do you lean on 4? I don't know how many they'll try to stash there at the wide receiver position. Although, kind of cool though. Kind of cool. Malik Heath made the roster. We talked about this last night. We definitely would take Malik Heath over McCole Hardman. So
no block, no rock.
Exactly. Is anybody upset that we kept Malik Heath over McCole Hardman? I mean, I think we kind of called that one, right, Tim? Don't you agree?
Just a little bit, a little bit. And I would not be surprised if McCole is one of those practice squad guys, even if he does get picked up, maybe in the near future by another team. But it just shows what a dog Malik Heath is and has been. Just a guy that does it for you, does the dirty work, good hands, willing to be physical, and, brings you little bit of effort on special teams as well. And I think at this point in time that was the right decision. It's not a knock on McCole Hardman, but I think Malik Heath has certainly carved a role for himself in this receiver room these past couple of years, and you love to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Malik is probably going to be the one that's going to get the, looking forward, he's probably going to get the boot back down to practice squad. So you would want somebody that maybe isn't going to get snagged up from the practice squad. Like if you were trying to do that with McCole Hardman, maybe somebody does come around later in the year and snag him. So I'm glad that, you push Malik through, get him on. We'll have him on there for 5 weeks and we'll go from there. But, perfect guy to be out there. You saw him doing it all. So that's kind of what we need.
Yeah. Let's hit this super chat real quick. And I want to get your take on the receiver room there, Jacob. Aaron Rodgers with the super chat. Thanks, buddy. He says, evening PTA. We're excited about 2025-2026 Super Bowl winning 53-man roster. Also off topic, I might make a trip next year to training camp because I plan on seeing the Yankees and Cubs in Chicago.
Get ready to go.
When I hear Yankees and Cubs, thank you for that super chat, Aaron. Appreciate you. When I think Yankees and Cubs, I think of Babe Ruth calling his shot at Wrigley Field back in the day on Charlie Root, where there's multiple reports, different stories, but Babe Ruth said the Lord was with him when he pointed out there and said, I'm going to hit the next pitch ball past the flagpole. But people in the dugout said, no. He pointed at Charlie Root and said, I'm going to hit the next pitch ball right back down your GD throat. So that might have been
the Lord was definitely with him. So were the cigars, the hot dogs, the daddy sodas, and the whiskey.
I was to say the whiskey. Yeah.
One of the best T-shirts I ever seen. And see, Aaron, super chats like this get us off topic, but I appreciate the support. One of the best T-shirts I've seen was Bonds did it on steroids. Babe Ruth did it on hot dogs and beer. Absolutely love that.
Love it. So cool that Aaron is talking about coming to camp next year, man. That's awesome. Make sure you hit me up. We'll link up for sure on your way down to Chicago to watch the Cubs and the Yanks.
Yeah.
There you go. Anything else on the receiver room, Jacob? What do you think, man? Are we missing anything here? How do you feel about it? And if nothing catches you off guard here, I want to ask you. You can only pick 2 of those released to make the practice squad. I want you to definitely answer that question.
Yep. I actually perfect chat question for that from Jay Cole here saying, wouldn't be surprised if we go Nair and Shep. I absolutely liked what I saw from Nair. Really liked what I saw from Shep. I know Tim probably won't not back that take as well. He was a big fan of Mr. Shepard there. So I'm excited about this group. I think that Malik Heath, like you guys said, just deserves to be on this team. I mean, he has been just working, and we've seen the physicality he plays with. And honestly, I think he's underrated because he's not just a physical receiver. He's got some soft hands. He's got late hands. He's got good route running. He's a physical guy. And I just think that, he just really put in the work. And if we could keep, Julian Hicks looked good. Cornelius had his moments. All these guys really did play their hearts out. So it must be really tough today for a lot of these young men. And we got to remember that.
So that's a roundabout way of not answering the question. Who are your 2?
Nair and Shep.
Your 2 from that. Nair and Shep, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Kind of surprised you didn't go with Julian Hicks there.
I would have gone with Hicks and Shep if I were putting my flag on.
Oh, we have a consensus. So Will Shepard is definitely one of the 2, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go. I love it.
So we got a little Ricky Scoops, pretty Ricky update here. Y'all want to get a little Micah Parsons, pretty Ricky update?
Might as well. We're so off track at this point.
Breaking news. All right, here we go. This is about 26 minutes ago, it looks like. Pretty Ricky back on the grind. He said the Packers have a trade on the table with the Cowboys for Micah Parsons with a new contract worth $45 million per year. That's that. Bark breaking news. Wow, breaking news. Wow, breaking rumor from Ricky. Thoughts, gentlemen? How do we feel about that if it's true? J. Cole said, "Hell no." That's what I'm talking about.
I second Tim's.
I'll third that.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to think.
Yeah,
50 million. I mean, we're paying him more than what Jordan Love's making. So
I don't know, man. But he's a great player. I'm always going to lead into this conversation with he's a great player, but man, it seems like a lot if that does prove to be true. This is the second time that Ricky's tweeted about this now. And you guys know Ricky dunked on Adam Schefter the other night. I can't remember. Oh, it was the Terry McLaurin thing. Adam Schefter said they are way far apart. And Pretty Ricky said this deal's about done. And lo and behold, Terry McLaurin gets signed. So,
well, we know 45 milli's around where Micah wants to be, right?
Yeah.
As far as a contract based on his, representation and everything. My question is what is the trade on the table? Because we've talked about those crazy scenarios with multiple draft picks and Rashawn Gary and all this nonsense. So, like, what is the actual trade that's on the table? And, what are the specifics? That's what I'm curious, to know.
Yeah. For me, I've said it before, Tim, first and the third is what I would give up. It's the contract that bothers me a little
45 million, Clay.
That's the thing. I mean, that's the tough part, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing. That's the rate.
Yeah.
That's the reality of
but
it.
Are we going to be paying LVN 45 million when we go to give him a second contract?
Right. And here's the thing too. Early rumors, not from Pretty Ricky, but just random people, tweeting about it. They were saying that the Cowboys would get a player back, right? And I hope this doesn't happen. However, if you're talking cap-wise, if they traded Rashawn Gary back, that's going to make that it's going to be easier to absorb that $45 million per for the cap. I just don't understand how that helps your defense, man. Because at that point, let me put it this way: you guys know how I feel about Rashawn Gary, right? I'm a Rashawn Gary stan. I think he's so underappreciated, it's not even funny. However, would I see? It hurts me with that being up there. Would I trade Rashawn Gary for Micah Parsons straight up? Let's start there. I would. Micah Parsons a little bit younger, right? He's probably got more upside, and maybe LVN can play that role of Gary, seeing that he's shown some flashes in the run defense type thing. So would the Cowboys do that? Absolutely not. So now it comes, how much would you give with Rashawn Gary, right? Because what's going to happen is if you trade Rashawn Gary, and this is just theoretically speaking, if you were to trade Rashawn Gary there, you're going to balance this out to where the balance sheet's probably going to come out to about $15 million more on the cap, adding Micah Parsons, essentially what it comes down to, right? But what would you be willing to give up along with Rashawn Gary for him? Rashawn Gary was a first-round pick to me, so I would probably give up Rashawn Gary in a third. That's the only that would be as high as I would go. If we hear news break that they trade Rashawn Gary 2 firsts, a third, and all this, it's going to be hard for me to defend Goody on that, man. Because again, I just don't. Micah Parsons is a great player, but I'll tell you who Micah Parsons, or who is built like Micah Parsons and plays like Micah Parsons, is Edgerrin Cooper. I don't think you need 2 Edgerrin Coopers running around. I think you need a run stopper up front off the edge, and you need Edgerrin Cooper a stack backer. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it, but I could be wrong. So it seems like everybody in the chat pretty much agrees that we like the edge room right now. Do y'all agree with that, fellas? It seems like that's a consensus. Or
there's a couple people that say that this could be the kind of the finger on the scale that would maybe make us into a Super Bowl contender, but I would say it's about 90% doesn't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole.
That's kind of where I'm at, man.
Are they even allowed to figure out the $45 million outside of him getting traded over? Like, I didn't think that was supposed to be part of the trade clause.
Well, let me ask you this, Emilio. Yeah, they're not allowed to, right? But who is Jordan Love's agent?
The same agent as Micah has, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we think for a second that they're not talking behind the scenes, this is that whole tampering thing,
Absolutely.
Yeah, now I understand exactly what you're saying. I think there is a rule in place there. Now, the Cowboys can grant permission, and if the Cowboys are seeking a trade, if they're actively seeking a trade for Micah Parsons, then yes, this can be totally legal in that regard.
Right.
That makes sense. So, the way I understand it anyway. So, Mungie Cheddar Bug says, I feel like trading Gary away would kick the locker room culture in the nuts. I think that is very well said, Mungie Cheddar. I do.
That's why it's so hard for me to wrap my head around these proposed trades, because to me the most sense would be if you want to bring Micah Parsons in, put him on the field with Rashawn. And then I think of, okay, well, if it's not Rashawn and picks, then where are we dipping into our personnel plus draft picks to trade? In both of those scenarios, I don't like. I definitely don't like, Rashawn and draft picks for Micah Parsons. I just don't. I agree with that sentiment.
No.
Yeah, and just want to give a shout out to Steve Cook, who tagged me in this tweet, or I would not have even seen it here. So appreciate you taking the time to do that. Anything else on the Micah Parsons rumor here?
I think Jerry will pay him in a year like $50 million, and we'll be done with this.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I agree.
Our Aaron Rodgers has another super chat. He was one of the ones that did support it, it sounds like. He says, we have our core under rookie deal. This is a win now move. Pair him with Gary. For those worried about locker room, Woodson was a cancer in Oakland. But it sounds like I just don't still want to do it, man. What do you think?
If you're talking about
if we pair him with Gary, does that mean trading a receiver?
What are we
trading what does that mean?
The rumors were LVN might potentially be on the table to send back. So now here's the thing: player for player, would I take Micah Parsons for LVN? I absolutely would take that trade. I think LVN can be a great player, but Parsons is already a great player. You pair him with Gary, that is a Super Bowl kind of.
It's so rare to see an edge for an edge, though, right? Or a player for a player type of
trade.
There'd
be picks too, of course, Tim. It wouldn't just be that trade there alone. You know what I mean? So, it's interesting. It's an interesting take. And as far as Woodson, the reason that he, when he say he was a cancer in Oakland, he was sleeping in meetings and all that stuff, right? Well, no other team made an offer to him. So when he came to Green Bay, he actually caused stink in practice and got into it with the coach. I'm pretty sure we found out later it was Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy ran his ass off the practice field. And then they sat down and had a talk with his agent and everything. They ironed it out. And then from that point forward, Charles Woodson was obviously the team leader that he turned out to be. So you make a valid point, Aaron. You really do. But at the same time, I'm not as concerned about Micah walking into our locker room and being a problem because, like I said the other day, he's going to walk in and have to stare at Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary in the eye. He's going to have to stare, though. You know what I'm talking about? On offense, you got the quiet leader in Jordan Love that he's absolutely won the respect of the locker room. You got people like Zach Tom who's punching out 3 different Seahawks in a joint practice. I don't think he's going to take any crap off Micah. You know what I mean?
Norris.
There you go, Tucker Kraft. Get him in there. So, anyway, I didn't plan on spending any time on this, obviously, but I feel like it was important that we kind of hit on it for sure. This right here, I can't get behind. Pack fan Iowa says it's a Reggie White move, guys. Micah Parsons is not Reggie White. He's not.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
I mean, no disrespect, man. We can agree to disagree on this. I'm going to give my take. You just gave yours. Micah Parsons is not a quarter of the leader that Reggie White was. Micah Parsons can't play a 1-tech, can't play a shade, can't play a 3, and then kick back out to a 5-7 or a 9. Okay, Micah Parsons isn't literally throwing 320-pound tackles with one hand. Micah Parsons wouldn't go out there and play with a torn hamstring in the playoffs. Like that, when I hear that, man, it kind of makes my skin crawl because that's not a Reggie White type move. And also,
speaking of Micah Parsons in the playoffs, y'all remember that game a couple of years ago in Dallas?
Aaron Jones smacked him in the chest.
Where was Micah Parsons in the playoffs?
And again, if we get him, I'm on
playoffs.
If we get him, team's better. I'll be a Micah Parsons fan because I'm a Packers fan. That's the way that'll go. But to sit here and pretend like he was Reggie White, man, I just can't. And that's no shot at Packer fan in Iowa saying that. There's been multiple people saying that on Twitter, and I'm just like, that's why I haven't even touched those tweets. I'm like, I don't even know how to respond to that because that's just not the player he is, in my opinion. So, but we'll see, man. Anything else, Emilio? You got anything else to add to this? I know you're excited about this talk, right? I can see it all over your face.
I'm so far past this right now. I appreciate everybody.
Whatever. You were thinking about it in the shower. We all know.
No, I wasn't.
The only thing
I'm talking about. That's my job.
All right, let's move. Oh, spoiler alert. Oh, here we go. Let me get it back on track here. So we talked about receiver, right? Let's get to tight end real quick. Tight end, 4 players. This was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't expect them to keep 4. I didn't see anybody's roster projection having them keep 4 either. That's why I kind of cackled when there were people saying, oh, no surprises here. Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, John Fitzpatrick, and Ben Sims. They released Messiah Swinson and Johnny Lumpkin, so they decided to keep 4, which tells me, Tim, they were a little concerned, right, that Ben Sims probably going to get picked up off the scrap heap there if they let him go. So it just shows you that they're probably going to press into 12 and maybe even a little 13 personnel, like Emilio was saying, as you start off early in the season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we talked about Ben Sims starting camp really well and then kind of not hit a wall, but just kind of got lost in the mix there and then kind of maybe finished strong. So, it is kind of surprising because I was convinced, at least I know a couple of us were, that we would keep 3. It would be Tuck, Luke Musgrave, and Fitzpatrick. So I think it does make sense that if you're keeping 4, Sims is your guy with Swinson and Lumpkin, knocking on the door. The question is, I think with 4 tight ends, I don't think they keep either of these 2 on the practice squad as far as Swinson or Lumpkin, right?
I agree. Yeah. We got to hit this real quick. Member for 11 months, Nick McSwain. Thank you for the support, Nick. He says Parsons pressures in 23 was 103. Packers pressures in 24 was 120. Why are we comparing 2 different years? I don't understand that. It almost feels like there's cherry picking going on there. I could be wrong. So, and obviously last year with the Packers, very, very run focused defense there up front. We talked about that ad nauseum, so we don't want to beat that dead horse. But, yeah, he can get after the quarterback. There's no doubt, man. No doubt about that. But why was Dallas's run defense so bad if he's so good? You know what I mean? Like,
because it's more fun to rush the passer, Clay, than stop the run.
Yeah, and maybe you're playing from behind a lot because you can't stop the run. That could be something to do with it too, right? So,
yes. Yeah.
All those things come into play for sure. But appreciate the support, Nick. All right. Hey, tight end. Let's keep going around the horn there, man. I keep getting sidetracked with all this, but I definitely want to acknowledge the super chats and everything.
Wow, the Micah Parsons talk is almost taken over the Max Crosby talk that we had a few months ago, right?
They went off that quick, didn't we, man? Like, people just lost that energy real quick when we started I started laying out stats with no names attached, and people were choosing Rashawn Gary every time over Max Crosby, over TJ Watt, and everything. It's wild. Well, anyway,
yes, sir.
Tight ends, Jacob. Tell me about it here. You good with this?
I'm good with it. I definitely thought that we would only carry 3 at the most, just to free up some of the other kind of matchups and stuff that we had. But I've been a Ben Sims fan since we signed him. I thought John Fitzpatrick has just done kind of like Malik Heath, just always shows up. Seems like he's always producing, like he's getting better. He's an ascending player, like we always talk about. I feel like that both of those young men are ascending players. And then obviously I think we know what we have in Tuck Norris, and I think what we could potentially have with Luke Musgrave, if he stays healthy, that could be an absolute lethal room, to the point of, I don't know many other teams' tight ends that have that kind of versatility and that sort of the RAS level, the way that these guys are gritty. You watch Tuck Norris diving for some of these like layout balls, and the way that Musgrave's speed is kind of unmatched right now. Like that's very intriguing. Like Emilio talked about, if you ever got into a position where you wanted to run like a 13 personnel, there's your guys right there. We got a nice setup for that.
Yeah, and rotating them too. That last game you saw Musgrave actually at the sidecar next to Malik in the backfield. I think it was with Josh or Emmanuel. So you're flexing Musgrave around. You're keeping Kraft on the line. You're going to need Fitzpatrick if you want to go. You could have 2 tight ends on the line, 1 at H-back, all these different things that Matt can kind of, finagle with. And especially, I think us having 6 wide receivers tells me that they're healthier than we maybe had thought, which is huge. But if you do run into a pickle, all right, we lean on it like we did at the beginning of last year, lean on the run a little bit, 12, 13 personnel, rotate them, and then, move forward with what you have. Those guys can also play special teams, keep them out there and just kind of keep going. I like that we did keep 4, but I think it tells you a little bit on where the offense might be heading.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
All right, so there's the tight end position. Nick McSwain said Micah Parsons only played in 7 games, I think. That's not true. He played in 13, had 654 snaps. We actually did a statistical comparison of how Rashawn Gary was a much, much, much better run defense in terms of stop rate percentage based off of the snap count and everything. So, but, yeah, he did play in 13 games last year. All right, offensive line. This was, I don't want to say a surprise. Anytime I'm one of these guys that I kind of feel like you can break camp with 8. trim down spots. You know what I mean? Basically the way I see it is you got 5 offensive linemen. You can always call people up from the practice squad, but you got 5 starters. Have 3 backups, right?
Yep.
Have a guy who can play center. Sometimes that might be your starting guard, that might be your backup guard, what have you. But have a backup guard, a backup center, a backup tackle type thing. And then, of course, on game day, call people up from the practice squad. So that's 8 is kind of that number where I still feel somewhat comfortable with that. But they went with 9 here. They kept Elton Jenkins, Aaron Banks, Zach Tom, Rasheed Walker, Sean Ryan, Jordan Morgan, Anthony Belton, Darian Kennard, the new offensive lineman they traded for, and Donovan Jennings. Injured reserve / designated for return is Jacob Monk. That was a surprise to us. Physically unable to perform, John Williams with the back surgery. Obviously not a surprise there. Released Kadeem Telford, Trey Hill, Lasita Smith, Tyler Cooper, J.J. Lipe, and Brant Banks. So the big thing here for me, guys, and this is why I love breaking this down, I love the fact that Aaron Banks didn't go on any kind of IR. That tells me the back is pretty close. I expect him to be out there week 1. If not week 1, then definitely probably by week 2, right? So that's a good sign there. I guess we'll start with you this time, Jacob, on the offensive line. We'll just run straight down the line. What do you think about the offensive line here and how they approach this? And do you agree with what I said about Aaron Banks? Seems like that's a good sign he's getting healthy.
Yeah, definitely. He was. I will admit, as a Packer fan that doesn't know nothing other than just my internal emotions and all that, my opinions, I was today. I kind of was a head scratcher when they made that move for Banks, and this most recent one with Kennard, it kind of made me kind of be like, well, why? Like, what is the reason? But in years past, I've been proven wrong time and time again, and it just feels like that. So like Benny D is that we're trying to move in a different direction here. We want to have some big old road graders up there. Whether that means that we're going to try to emphasize the run a little more with Josh Jacobs, and when we saw how I forget that Jacobs was a 13-yard rusher last year and was kind of dominant. If it wasn't for how good Saquon and Derrick Henry and those types of guys did, it's just like that's kind of the way it feels like the league is moving. We talked about so many different times. Thank you, Tim.
I mean, he did retire Tyrann Mathieu, so
yeah, we talked about how many times that in that Philadelphia game, the second we lost our guys, it just fell apart. It fell apart fast. So these moves do make sense if you want to look at it in the area of having that really good rotation. Like you said, Clayton, I could have seen us even being risky and keeping 8. I could have seen us taking 10. But I think the biggest one to me was I feel like they like Donovan Jennings a little more than we thought they liked him. And that's kind of interesting to me. But other than that, I like we talked about already in this podcast, I was kind of surprised by the Monk thing. Didn't know if he'd been hurt that well or that much. I think the biggest surprise for me would be Kadeem Telford being cut, just because he's just seemed like kind of that that tackle that had some upside that maybe they were trying to, like, what was it? Caleb Jones? It was just a mountain of a man that, that was kind of my biggest surprise. What about you?
Yeah. They must feel comfortable that Kadeem Telford's going to make it to the practice squad. He's going to be one of those guys where, obviously you're going to carry multiple here. Benny D in the chat says average size like 6'5", 320.
I put the team on my back, dude.
What do you think about this, Tim, this offensive line group here, Bob? And I want to apologize to people in the chat. I see people complaining because we talked about Micah. I understand your frustration completely. I get it. I really do. So go ahead, Tim. Yeah.
I'm there with you too. I feel your pain. As far as the O-line, I'm with Jacob. Kadeem Telford, we talked about that at the game. He kind of does remind you of, Caleb Jones, just a physically imposing beast of a man out there. Probably a guy that I would think of the released O-linemen, since they went 9 and not 8 and not 10. Maybe there are 2 that they hold over on the practice squad. My picks would be Telford and Lasita Smith. I like Lasita Smith because he's got some experience and he's basically anywhere in the middle on that line, right guard, left guard, center, even if you need them. So I could see those being practice squad guys. But I guess my big question with the initial 53 guys on the roster is, who's your starting left tackle week 1, right? Is it going to be Sheed or is it going to be Jordan Morgan? It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's just tough not seeing my boy on there, you know.
I knew that was going to happen.
But besides that, no, I was leaning on Telfort last night. Yeah, but it kind of makes sense. You know, you need somebody inside. You can have Morgan that can pop out to tackle, all that. But, you know, looking at the roster, we knew 7 of them were going to make it, right? Elton, Aaron, Tom, Walker, Sean Ryan, Jordan Morgan, and Belton were all going to make it. Then you spend draft on Kennard. He's making it. So you really only had 1 or possibly 2 spots. Monk was a surprise for me. Him being on IR, didn't know he was hurt or anything like that. But, yeah, just hopefully Kadeem makes it back because he can play guard. They threw him in there. He got worked in the Eagles right after my boy Glover got subbed out real quick just because he needed a breather. We'll be all right at O-line now that I think that they've kind of approached it the right way. Let's just get Aaron Banks back and see what that 5 does.
Somebody in the chat just said Kay just tweeted a cryptic tweet. Kay Adams.
She said she tweeted "you guys" with a period.
I've got it right here. The comments are worth pulling up.
The comments are firing up, Clay. That's what I was just taking a peek at.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we might as well just call the show.
All right. So Kay Adams says she's been in the middle of this Micah Parsons thing, right? She just said, "You guys, right? This better be, Big B. This better be what I think it is. Say Micah's a Packer. I dare you, Kay. Please." Hi, Kay. This guy's shooting his shot. Look at this. Look at this one right here. Crack me.
That's fair.
What do you know, baby girl? Bartholomew said that. All right. Look. Go ahead and say it. Don't give me hope. So that's what I'm saying. Packers Twitter, man, they want him bad. The majority of them do, I believe. Well, I don't know. But, yeah. Thought it was pretty funny. Anyway, we've got to the point in today's NFL where it's Kay could literally tweet "you guys" and everybody immediately thinks Micah's a Packer. Oh, this feels like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers all over again, does it not, boys?
You hurt me, Brett.
All right, that's offensive line. Anything else on O-line, man? Anything at all?
No. Did you guys answer who you think would be the most likely to return to practice squad?
In terms of offensive line, I think mine would be probably Kadeem Telfort and Lasita Smith. If you keep a third, many people haven't talked about this. I thought Brant Banks had a really good preseason. That's one that kind of surprised me a bit, but I don't know. That would be mine. What do you guys think?
I'd say Telfort and Smith.
Telfort and Smith, and then Banks is your honorable mention, right?
Yeah, I probably would have said Telfort, Smith, and Hill, but yes.
Okay, Trey Hill. Got it. All right, because Lasita Smith, didn't he play played a little center, didn't he, for us?
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Yep. That's an interesting one. So, all right, that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2, where we'll try not to talk about Micah Parsons, and we will talk about the defensive players that made the 53-man roster. We appreciate y'all.
For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome into hour 2. Let's get to the defensive side, fellas. I know Tim's excited. This is what he came for.
Right? That's my job.
All right, so we've got defensive end 5 players: Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Kingsley Igbare, Brenton Cox Jr., and this one really got me excited. I don't know why this is that flickering on your all's end too? It's really strange. No? Okay. Baron Sorrell. So last night I had said early in the show that, man, the vibe I'm getting is Baron Sorrell is not going to go on IR. He's going to be available in a couple of weeks, right? That was kind of what I was hearing, what I was feeling. And then, of course, our good buddy, the doc himself, MD Holmes said, or Holmes MD1 said, that's a 4 to 6 week injury. So we kind of, well, maybe that makes sense. They'll put him on IR. They did not put him on IR. So this tells us they are expecting him well before, week 5, right? So you're probably going to see him maybe as early as week 1, possibly week 2, I would imagine. That's the big takeaway for me. Physically unable to perform, no surprise there. On the pup, they're putting Colin Oliver, the rookie, and then they release Aaron Mosby and Deslin Alexander, which I think it's a realistic chance you can see both of those guys back on the practice squad. So Baron Sorrell, as someone said there, is my player to watch. Roger Davis said, I agree, Roger, what he showed in the preseason. I think it was Jacob Morley had tweeted out. He led all rookie edge defenders and quarterback hits in the preseason, and he only played in 1 game. I think we got a dog there. So this is exciting for me. And again, these are kind of the news within the 53-man roster where, Tim, you look up and you go, hey, that's great news right there that Baron Sorrell isn't on the IR.
Absolutely. Like we compared it to the scare we had with Kingsley and Egbari a couple years ago, right? With the knee at the end of the season, and we didn't know, was it busted up bad? Would he need surgery? Would he be gone for a long time? Turned out not to be anything serious, or super serious at least. Any knee injury is serious, right? And then you see Baron Sorrell here, playing like a monster in his first preseason game, take some friendly fire, and good news that he's on the 53. I think that's just confirms what we thought, right? Obviously, he's going to be ready to go sooner than later. I would anticipate either, seeing him back before the bye or right after the bye. But I love that they gave him a roster spot. And then, Colin Oliver, on the PUP list, really, you look at this whole group, like you said, Clay, I just see all these guys are going to be Packers at some point in time throughout the year for us. I think there's a realistic possibility that at least one of the two, Mosby or Alexander, makes the practice squad. But I'm with you, Clay. There's an argument that both of them are on the practice squad.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that one of those two didn't make it and that we only went with 5. But like Tim just kind of highlighted, Kingsley Egbari showed up immensely in this preseason to the point where he went from a guy that was kind of on my poo-poo list and kind of shot right back up to the type of player that I thought he would be when we first drafted him. And I think once that knee kind of maybe shored up a little bit for him and he felt more confident, we've seen what he really brings to the table. And we know obviously what we've got with Rashawn and LVN and my boy Brenton Cox Jr. I'm just saying. So I'm pretty excited about this rotational group. And I really do think that all 5 of those guys are going to get a lot of snaps this year. I think they are going to use that heavy rotation again. And I'm very excited for it. Wish I could see Colin Oliver out there, obviously.
Right.
But I really do agree with Tim. I think Mosby and Deslin put a lot of good tape out there to the point where not enough maybe that somebody would shark them off and sign them, but enough so that they deserve to be on this practice squad.
Yeah. Holmes MD1 says it very much depend on the grade and severity of the sprain. He confirmed not strain, but he meant sprain. Mine was low grade and was sore for at least a month. I've seen athletes take even longer due to the demands of their occupations. So just kind of depends on, and we, to the best of my knowledge, Holmes and everybody in here, I don't think we actually heard of what level that is, right? What grade that is. So go ahead, Emilio.
Just hoping that it's minor, hoping that it gets back out there soon, tears it up. But yeah, that's a solid DN group. You got your 2 first rounders out there. Kingsley stepping up. We thought that he may have been on the outs, may have been on the trading block, whatever. Jacobs boy made it. And then, you got the young guy with a little bit of a knee problem now, but I'm not worried about him moving forward. It was a freak thing. It's not like he's, quote unquote injury prone, anything like that. He just got a little banged up, and then you got to go back out there and play less football. So I really I mean, you can't do anything about it. That's just, you only got 2 of them. But yeah, Colin Oliver, hopefully that, we get something from him maybe at the end of the year, just kind of see what he can do. Not like he's going to be doing anything big for this team, but I do expect something big for the rest of these 5.
Y'all want another Micah Parsons tweet?
No.
He said
Do
no.
that, you're get your ass kicked in that.
This one's actually from Pack Daddy. So,
Oh no. Mr. Schlip.
Mr. Schlip. Let's put it up.
All right.
Wait, we got to get the drop here.
Breaking news from Pack Daddy. Micah Parsons is a Green Bay. I'm just kidding. It's not.
No, dude,
my
don't
God.
do that. That fucking hurt, man.
He said
Put
this
that
would go
name
along.
in my mouth right there.
This would go a long way in helping with my hatred of Reddit. And I don't believe this is my Mandy. That's not my Mandy on Twitter. Here we go again. So this was on Green Bay Packers Reddit. And you guys know everything's true on Reddit, right?
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
So I hesitate to even post this, but this kind of stuff has come to fruition for others on Reddit before. This is third-hand knowledge, so could be nothing. I live in the Dallas area, and a friend of mine is next-door neighbors with one of the Cowboys' team physical therapists. This is like four spots removed, right? Look at Emilio, take a drink. supposedly he did some work with Micah Parsons today, and word is the Packers have a deal in place. Just need him to agree to the contract offer, which he says averages $45 million per. So
I don't understand if Jerry's trying to stay around 35, 40 milli, why are we willing to go up? I don't get it.
Well, my sister's best friend's cousin's boyfriend saw him at 31 Flavors
See,
last
what
night.
had happened was
let's count this. Seriously, let's count this. Pack Daddy tweeted something. That's one person. From another person, Mandy M. Moody or whatever. That's two people. All right. To a person on Reddit, that's the third person. I hesitate to even post this third-hand knowledge. Okay, so that's
at least another
6 people now, right? I live in the Dallas area, and a friend of mine, that's 7. All right. Supposedly he did with a physical therapist. That's the 8th, right? Yeah, because it's next door neighbors with the physical therapist. Supposedly he did some work with Micah Parsons today, and they have a deal in place. So 8 people.
I want to know what the guy who was striping the lawn had to say about the whole thing.
I'm in town to play.
You know what this sounds like? My sister-in-law, baby cousin Tracy. Wasn't that on a movie somewhere? My sister-in-law, baby cousin Tracy. What movie was that, Tim? That was one of the. It wasn't Friday, was it? What movie?
It might have been.
It may have been.
Might have been.
That's my reference. Was the Ferris Bueller's Day Off? You don't remember that one?
Jacob, sir. Still haven't seen it. I know you're gonna. Get
serious?
Still haven't, man.
What is?
I'm gonna tell Mandy.
Chat's gonna go at you right now, dude. You've never seen whatever. Let's move on.
All right. Yeah. Everybody in the chat, have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Yes or no?
Breaking news.
Put it in the comments.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
All right.
Somebody in the comments of the video, please put it in there if you've seen Ferris Bueller Day Off. I need to know.
Yes or no. Just say. Dennis Shook said, "Hell yeah, okay, we'll just move on." He was very emphatic. Who? Ben Holden said, "Who?" All right, let's move it along here.
Who?
See, this is what's so frustrating about hosting a podcast and a YouTube show. I feel like this show has absolutely sucked because it's just been in and out, nothing organized. Well, we got more viewers tonight than we've had in a long time. We got 478 people watching in here, so maybe they come for the train wreck. I don't know, but. Anyway, Tim, do you have anything you want to add to Micah Parsons' update here before we move on? Man?
Yeah, I can't wait till I can press this drop right here. And we hear breaking news. Micah Parsons is a Dallas Cowboy.
Stays with
breaking
the
news.
Thank
yeah,
you.
He has to still play under the contract that he's on right now because he can still get franchise tagged twice. So,
I mean, I fully understand why people are bothered that Jerry Jones holds the keys, but I mean, you can't change the facts. He's under contract. I feel like Jerry's got a little bit of the power here in this situation.
Oh, please.
Brooke in the chat says you haven't seen Ferris Bueller's. Now I'm in trouble with Brooke. Now sorry, Brooke. I apologize.
Because Clay, I know you jacked up a car and put it in reverse trying to take the miles off her to sell her. I know it was a lemon. You're just trying to flip the thing.
He doesn't understand the reference.
Car, like it wasn't a $600,000 Ferrari.
We didn't have no Ferraris back in the holler. I'll just leave it at that. So let's move it along. Defensive tackle, 6 players. A little bit of a surprise for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but they kept Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, Kobe Wooden, Warren Brinson, and Nazir Stackhouse. I kind of felt like Nazir might try to go to the practice squad and then call him up when you need a nose tackle for a run heavy game type thing, you know? No, that's not Nazir. Thank God. Right.
That's the only guy bigger than Nazir Stackhouse.
Pull that back up there. That's what I looked like leaving the Cracker Barrel before they changed. Before,
Thick.
You know what I'm saying, man.
Clay, I actually heard that they decided against their new operational change and they're going to keep it the old school.
Yeah, I think the person that pitched the whole idea lost their job too, so it's kind of
you'll have that.
Yeah, that happens sometimes down here in the South. You know what I mean? I imagine people showed up the home office with some shotguns or something. You know what I mean? That's probably what happened. But
They came in there like
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
I haven't been in a Cracker Barrel in a while either, man. Now, last time I went in there, they were serving beer, and I was like, "What in tarnation is going on in here? When did this happen?" Right? But farmers like it. So, all right. So released James Esther and Devontae O'Malley. Jacob, what's your take on these defensive tackles here? I want to get your take too, Tim. How we feeling about
Definitely, it was a surprise to me that we kept 6. I thought for sure that we would try to free up somewhere else. Like you said, I thought it'd be either Stackhouse or maybe even a crazy thing about Wooden, but much like Kingsley, I think that Wooden really impressed during the preseason. I think Brooks was very solid. We know what we have in Clark and Wyatt. Brinson, didn't see as much as I'd like to see out of him. Same with Nazir. I saw him maybe not making as many run tackles, kind of getting bounced off of a little bit. I want him to be able to utilize that size and strength, but we have to remember these guys are very young, first NFL experience coming up right now, and they're going to get better. And I think that the Packers understood that they need some big bodies, some bodies in there that are not going to be able to get moved around. And with the loss of Slayton, Stackhouse just seems like he fits right in that role.
Yep,
Tim, you got anything else?
100%. I do, and I'm not shocked at all that Esther and O'Malley were released. I would think if any one of those two guys might be practice squad candidates, it's probably Esther. And I agree with Jacob. Little surprising that they went with 6, but when you look at the 6 that they kept, I'm with it. I agree with you, Clay. Maybe Nas was kind of borderline, but there's something there. Like we said, TJ's gone. He's a Cincinnati Bengal. We need some meat there in the middle. Kenny's not getting any younger, so makes a lot of sense to me that maybe that's the reason why they kept 6. Knowing that maybe Stack is going to be a work in progress, and might as well work him with some live game reps. Throw him into the fire as a UDFA rookie, and let him work behind guys like Warren Brinson and Colby Wooden, Carl Brooks. I mean, really, that's the core right there. I really feel like Kenny Clark's obviously the general of that D tackle group, but Devontae Wyatt and Carl Brooks have really stepped up really this camp as leaders in that room. So lots to be excited about there with the D line.
I'm really excited about Carl Brooks. I think this might be like we said the other day. This might be the jump we were expecting last year, right? And as Jen Wright says, UDFA streak continues. It does. That's right with Stackhouse. So awesome. All right, let's move it along. If y'all would take a quick second, please. We got a bunch of people in here. Just hit like, hit subscribe. If you like this type of content, make sure you click the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. We go live daily talking Packers. So if you're enjoying this type of stuff, make sure you click that bell icon. If you're not, pretend like you didn't even see us. All right. And please don't tell a friend how bad it sucks. Linebackers, 4 players we kept. All right. Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, and Tyron Hopper. They released Christian Welch, Isaiah Simmons, Jamin Johnson, and Jared Bartlett. I hope Christian Welch makes it to the practice squad, boys. Because, again, I thought he played well. I thought he had a good camp. Was really, really rooting for him. Not surprised by Isaiah Simmons, although they may try to bring both those guys back. And what I'm finding here, Emilio, as we're going through this whole thing is I've now said we might keep them both, and if you tally all those up at each position, we're going to have 33 people on the practice squad, which you guys know is not allowed. So what do you think about them potentially keeping Christian Welch and Isaiah Simmons? Or like somebody else said, what if they do put Barron Sorrell on IR tomorrow? They pop up and do something that we don't expect and free up a spot just to kind of – there'll be a move or two tomorrow, Emilio, where we go. Didn't see that coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think – us carrying 4 tight ends maybe took that one linebacker spot away. I think that's kind of where that trade-off was. But if you're asking Ben Sims and John Fitzpatrick to maybe be on kick coverage, you're standing at the line, run down there, make a tackle. It's not like you having them run the 40 yards or whatever they've had to beforehand. So if you got a big body, a guy that can get off a block, they've played football both ways their whole life till they got to the NFL probably. So they know how to tackle somebody. I think that, let's just get Christian Welch to the practice squad and go from there. I think we tried the Isaiah Simmons thing. I think it's probably past at this point. And, it was just kind of like McCall, we'll give him a shot, see what happens. Didn't work out. All right, appreciate you. Move on. And I think they probably have an eye on somebody else that they would want to bring in other than bringing back Isaiah, somebody else that got waived.
I agree. It's funny because like less than 24 hours ago, we heard a lot of talking heads will just saying that Isaiah Simmons was for sure on this 53. And I don't think any of us expected that. I don't think any of us expected that to happen. So I like this. Look at this backer room, man. Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, Zay McDuffie, Tyron Hopper. I'm with you. I think a lot of us think that maybe you switch 58 and 59 around. And maybe your big three are Hopper, Cooper, and Walker going forward. And I agree, Christian Welch to the practice squad to be called up at any given moment. And yeah, maybe even Isaiah Simmons. He is an athletic freak. I just don't feel like he's a linebacker. You know, again, who the hell am I? But I think he's a box safety or a post safety type of dude, not a stack backer.
Yeah, Cheddarhead chimes in here. Did you guys hear about the new Micah Parsons? We didn't, Cheddarhead. What's going on, dude? Fill us in, man.
Wait, do we have breaking news again? Is there, really?
Oh, now, I think there's several people in the comments are a little concerned about the linebackers. Let's just keep him 4. Like J. Cole, what's making me nervous? We kept 4 linebackers, and I think it was Solder too. The 4 linebackers has me confused. Need the linebacker body and skill tops for kick coverage. That's what makes me really think that Christian Welch and maybe Isaiah Simmons or Jamin Johnson will be on the practice squad. So on the 53 it's just showing 4, but like Matt LaFleur and them said, it's really a 69-man roster plus the international pathway players. So probably going to end up with 6, I would imagine, maybe even 7. And here's the other thing: maybe you grab a linebacker off the scrap heap from somewhere else that you like even better than Christian Welch and Isaiah Simmons. That could happen as well. So, So I wouldn't be too concerned with that. Although you guys know, I did feel like we were going to keep at least 5. I do like trying to keep 5 for sure. So, Professor Cakes Parsons just traded the Packers for a family-sized bag of Cool Ranch Doritos.
Pay that man his money.
Favorite Doritos, by the way. Do y'all like Cool Ranch? Y'all good?
Cool Ranch,
yeah, Cool Ranch
for sure. Yeah, it was a buy 3 for $8 deal at Kroger's today.
Jesus.
What you know about taking the nacho cheese and the Cool Ranch and just dumping them all into a bowl, and it's just luck of
just
the
a
draw.
party, just a party thing.
Psycho Tim, you're just throwing it in there.
Heard it from a fan right here.
You're talking about getting 3 for 7. 3 for 7 with his EBT card over there. You know what I mean?
Hey, it rings, don't it? It rings.
It seems like everybody's on board with the Cool Ranch, though, for sure. I like just the classic nacho cheese or whatever it is.
Dude, you know what's the best? The Doritos Locos Tacos.
The hell's
Ever had them?
Low key, you know what's the best are the fake generic store brand Cool Ranch Doritos, depending on where you're at. Those hit pretty nice.
Built to ass. BTA. Know what I'm saying?
What'd you say, Jacob? The Doritos Locos are the best, or what?
Yeah.
I was just trying to make sure. Because I'm pretty sure that the Cinnabon Delights are the best thing at Taco Bell.
I would never forget.
Still have that.
Emilio talking about this. And then unfortunately I had to go home to Kentucky for a funeral. And me and my brother-in-law we were all piled into the expedition. We came back across Black Mountain, right? The highest point in Kentucky. We came across, everybody's car sick. Hey, let's pull over, get our bearings here for a second, pull into Taco Bell. My brother-in-law said, "You tried those cinnamon things yet?" I'm like, "No, bro, we smashed like 30 of those."
I'm telling you, best move you've ever made.
I went from wanting to puke on my shoes to all of a sudden eating 30 cinnamon bites. They were unbelievable. So good call, Emilio. I'm proud of you, dude.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
You're going to have to.
Pretty decent with my food takes, I'll be honest.
No, you really are, man. You know how to eat. For a skinny guy, you know how to eat. No doubt about it. I usually don't trust people like you. Tim, put the picture up. You know who I usually trust. These are the guys I trust right here. That was right there too. There you go, man. I'm telling you, dude. I'm peeking when we're at a restaurant, especially if it's a mom and pop's outfit. I'm like this looking at the kitchen. Who is that? Oh yeah. They got some extra hanging under the arm. We're good. We're about
That's Clayton leaning over the deep fryer after he emptied everything out of it.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. End up like that though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
With that. So, all right.
Did they fix that yet?
But I haven't checked. To be honest with you, we need to get an update on that. They better get it fixed. I know that. So, all right, cornerbacks 6. It's another kind of a surprise. We were saying 5, right? So you got Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, Bo Melton, Kamal Haddon, and Micah Robinson. So Micah Robinson makes the cut. Did you guys see his tweet by chance? He tweeted out a picture of himself with his helmet off, and he had his nose strap on, and it says God's Child on it. That's all. I think that's all he tweeted. So it's just pretty cool, man. Micah Robinson making the roster. I think he's a good ball player. When we did his write-up around draft time on the Patreon page, I was impressed. I was impressed with his resume, But here we go. Kalen King gets cut, right? Corey Ballantyne and Tyron Herring. So they must feel pretty confident they can get Kalen King back on the practice squad. Hey, it worked last year, Jacob, right? And we were kind of, oh man, I would keep him. So they leaned toward keeping Micah Robinson and Kamal Hadden and cut Kalen King loose. So I think Kalen King makes a practice squad. What do you think?
Makes sense though. It was a 30 visit, had the cheese and the target emoji, and colored in yellow on the draft board. So I mean, if you're putting all that time and effort into those kind of players, why would you get rid of them at the first sign, right?
That's a great point, man. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I agree. Like Emilio said, they build these boards for a reason. I mean, we've kind of Emilio and Clayton and you guys have done such a great job of kind of highlighting the amount of effort that they put into trying to find these prospects every single year. And when they think that they got somebody, I think that they really do want to put a lot of emphasis is to trying to get those guys actually on the field and see if their hypothesis was correct. You know what I mean? And like, I really do like Micah Robinson. Stop it. I love Micah Robinson coming out. I really was excited about Kalen King. I think that, I don't want to put words in Tim's mouth, but I was pretty impressed with what I saw from him. I will say too, I was kind of up and down on Hadden, but the last preseason game, he did seem to be kind of flying around, making a little bit, some plays that were kind of pretty impressive. And so I understand why they did that. In my respect, Oranges, we have Micah at home.
Hey, I thought the same thing with Edger and Cooper. Like, and listen, you guys know who Homer is on the Homer Hour, right? You ever watch that on ESPN Milwaukee?
I'm a Milwaukee kid. I'm well versed in.
No idea.
Tim,
yeah.
I think most fans, it seems like they generally don't like Homer. I love listening to his show. I listen to it as I'm prepping our show every night, man. I really enjoy it. He's
Homer
the old
is a
school
staple of sports talk radio in Milwaukee, really Wisconsin as a market as a whole. Like,
and
literally
you can go
my
to
entire lifetime.
You can go to YouTube and find an old clip of Brett Favre at a bar with Homer. They did some kind of show together, and they had a live audience. And Favre was throwing footballs at glasses on the bar and stuff, breaking them. Yeah, it was absolutely awesome, man. So I really do like Homer. I like that old school approach. He's brash. He's got strong takes. I get you. I think he believes everything he says, though. I don't think it's let me say something outlandish here. I appreciate people who's been in the sports talk game for that long. I mean, you lasted that long. It's impressive. But Kalen King, since you bring up the draft board, Emilio, I pulled our previous year's draft board, and we actually had
Hold on. The chat is legitimately saying that Adam Scheffner just tweeted that Mike is a Packer.
Let's get it.
From multiple people. I tell you what, bro.
I don't see an Adam Scheffner tweet. Let me check real quick.
We got J. Cole saying it, Elijah Gwynn. What is happening?
I gotta go throw up. I'll be right back.
I'm not showing an Adam Scheffner tweet unless it just ain't an update for me.
I don't see anything.
Cheddarhead saying he's
I pay for the non-Radio Shack internet like Jacob pays for it. Okay, so I should know.
Oh man,
I can't. So they missed like.
We've got multiple people in the chat saying
I think they're looking at the Adam Schefter burner account.
Oh no! Did they get got? They got, didn't they? Let's see.
Be.
What? How is that one spelled too? I got to see this.
I don't know. I'm trying to see here. Hold on.
Please, Lord, baby.
Well, in the meantime, let's keep talking corners. So, anyways,
please.
The big shock to me was I forgot who mentioned it in the chat. It was a great point. He said Hadden over King. I think really what it proved to be was it was Micah Robinson over Kalen King. And we had talked about last night that if they did keep 6 corners, that Kamal Hadden would be that 6th. I think the battle was for that 5th. And I think Robinson, Tulane's own, might have just edged out Kalen King. And I think, to Kalen King's credit, like we talked about, we saw it on Saturday. He got a little bit more physical, especially in the run fits, looked pretty good as a slot. And I think at the end of the day, he probably just doesn't have the wheels that they're looking for. I mean, when you look at CV and Keyshawn and Nate Hobbs, obviously Bo Melton is extremely quick and fast. Kamal Hadden moves well, and Micah Robinson's got, lightning in his feet. So I think maybe it was just a speed factor that might have, kind of determined the fact that, we're going with the 7th round rookie here over the second year 7th round guy at corner. Kalen King on the practice squad, though, for sure.
And
what
you
I was
had
trying to
Mike-
say about Kalen King, there was a 148.1 grade that we had on him, Emilio. So worthy of around a top 150 pick. So
Right,
go ahead.
right. And my thought was, all right, you had Mike on the 4 years because you just drafted him. You had already put Kalen King onto the practice squad before. So it's not like you're keeping a 4-year contract or anything safe with that. So maybe you say, hey, we did the research on Micah. He ended up falling to us. We took him. We did a little bit of research on Kalen. We had him around, but hey, let's slide him off. We'll keep the 4 years, and hopefully he makes it. And again, we still have Bo if we need him to swing over to wide receiver for a little bit if we get some injuries.
As long as he doesn't eat too many cheese curds, right?
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
The
I
most
just had some
unintentionally.
from Culver's the other day.
Oh wow!
Let's go.
This was apparently an accident, but Donovan Schilling says Afim Schlefter.
That makes sense.
Somebody needs to create an AFM.
There it is.
Schefter.
Clay, I told you that Elijah got. Y'all was an Adam Schlefter. So I'm so sorry. I'm going to go delete my socials.
Listen, this is where people usually pile on Elijah, right? No, everybody has got at least once.
I got multiple times.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked. And then
Donovan Schilling says, I'm convinced Ricky Scoops is just Jerry Jones's partner. I love it.
I love it.
And Elijah, you're our insider. All right. Just know that. Okay. We appreciate you.
What you sipping on, Emilio? What are you drinking?
The good old Oktoberfest. I thought it was.
It's Tom. Boy, I'm telling you.
Once I saw him stacked up like 5 feet high in the middle of the store, I said, I'm going to go over to the cooler, grab a cold 6-pack, and come home and talk about the 53.
One sip of Oktoberfest, and I just want to rake some damn leaves, dude.
I'm telling you.
It just gets me fired up every single year. It put the weight on you, though. You got to be careful, Emilio.
Yeesh.
You know what I mean? You end up cut from the Buccaneers. Next thing you know, you ain't careful. All right.
Thick. Real quick before we move on from
you got another Micah Parsons update, Jake?
No, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
I just am so excited for Bo Melton. That was another quote unquote rumor that everybody thought was just, not going to happen.
Here's the guy.
Yeah. I'm just the ability for somebody at his age to just switch positions in the NFL and make a 53-man roster to me needs to be appreciated. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. What a dog. Keep him around his brother. He's going to learn from him. He's going to be teaching his brother here soon if he keeps this up.
I feel like Bo's got all the attributes you want. Like once that tackle grade improves, he's really going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, in the secondary. We talk about him converting from receiver. He knows a lot of these route combinations and what these guys are going to run before they even get out of their break, Yeah.
So Ernie, the Cowboys fan with 24,000 followers.
Crackhead. You got hold to the wrong stuff.
Said breaking. I can confirm through sources. That's how you know it's legit. That the Packers have indeed offered 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, a 5th-round pick for Cowboys defensive end Micah Parsons. Per Ricky Scoops, they're also offering $45 million per season. So this guy is saying he's confirming the exact trade package that I talked about, Jason Wilde talked about as just a random, here's what I would give up. So this seems to be recirculated. So
that's terrible. Bates is saying, too, that now Easton Butler is chiming in. He says, what is going on? Aaron Rodgers also just said Easton is also tweeting something. I don't like all this smoke. Because I'm starting to think there's a fire.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Thanks, you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and Kay Adams' tweet now is almost 400 responses and like almost 350,000 views in like 40 minutes. So
yeah, it's heating up.
Oh boy,
Jacob, why don't you tweet something out about Micah? Maybe it'll blow up.
I gotta make a new burner, brother.
All right, so Easton Butler just said, guys, ... Micah could be a Packer if what I was told is right.
Clay, can you just tweet out you guys with ... on the and just see what happens?
I'm doing it right. Let's do it. Let's play along.
I just want to see how much engagement we get on this.
We're going to lose some followers, but that's okay.
Tim, what do you think about the safety room?
It's set.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
it's absolutely set. And awesome news that Omar Brown is apparently on the mend and improving. So him going to IR is cool. Obviously, we think that Omar Brown outshined Baldwin and Simpson when it came to the kind of back end of that room. But
Definitely.
you got to feel good about X. E-Will and Javon Bullard, and then, a healthy Zane Anderson, hopefully. And then obviously Mr. KT Oladapo, theme music right on cue. Thank you, sir. Let's go.
Dog.
I want to go too long, dude.
We needed the man back. Okay. It's how doers get more done. All right.
Cut the music, Emilio. Cut the music.
It'll be all
It's
right.
fine as long as we're talking over it. They can't
We'll
pick
lose
it up.
everything. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Emilio, that tweet I just sent out, it's running, bro.
Let's go. I knew it. Come on now.
Oh,
Oh
boy.
my gosh.
In all seriousness, though, it is great to hear that Omar Brown is doing well.
Yeah.
I thought that guy absolutely. I swear to God.
Look at this
Here we
thing
go.
running right here, boys. Look at the comments. Oh boy, oh boy.
I don't want to
Watch,
pat you on
watch
the
it,
butt
watch
and
it.
you
I'll,
poop my hand.
let's give it a retweet too. Watch it.
Poop my hand.
Oh yeah. She's gonna get spinning.
Like I said, the followers will go down, but that's okay. It's all in good fun, right? Oh gosh, I'm crying over here. Tim, you got to embrace this, man. This is fun, dude. This is good stuff, dude. You know what I mean? This is
I'm not
what
going to
we
feel
love all the
bad
time.
if Micah Parsons becomes a Green Bay Packer. I will just feel bad for the capital and the personnel and the money that it's going to cost to bring him here.
Yeah, that'll be Tim. Like, Micah's a good player, but all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Get ready to go.
Safety. Anything else y'all want to add to the safety room? I think y'all pretty well covered it.
No, I think it's maybe the one group that we don't need to have anybody on the practice squad for. Does that make sense to y'all? Like,
I
just
know. I completely agree.
Especially with Omar Brown on IR, right? You don't need to take up a spot.
I thought Baldwin played as well as he could, honestly. So that maybe if he
I agree.
gets to be on that practice squad kind of thing, that I'd be all right with that.
Which is crazy to think now, just because 3 of those 5 players are basically going to be playing every game. If you think about it like that, Bullard's going to be in on 80% of the plays at nickel. So if you go down with an injury, it's Zane and Oladapo hopping right in there. So there's not as much maybe depth there, but you have solid guys that you're ready to go into a battle with. You're not really worried about any of those guys.
Yeah.
Should I tack onto that tweet and just say I stumped my toe?
No, it's oh my God, you
That's
guys
the tip, though.
haven't seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Just say that.
Yeah, there you go.
I will. Have you guys seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
No, you need to get because you already got 18 comments on that thing. It's been
it's going to get ratioed real good with people calling me a troll. But hey, man, we'll just have
Oh, we're going to give him some.
rightfully so. Specialists 3, no surprise here. Brandon McManus, Daniel Whelan, and Matt Orzik. They release Mark McNamee. Obviously, he should be back on the international player pathway. But the big news today, boys. Jacob, don't get excited with that screenshot there, okay? Packers long snapper, Matt Orzik. Do y'all say Orzic or Orzik? What do y'all say?
Orzic.
I say Orzik.
I don't care what you say. I'll say this.
Pay that man his money.
And they did, Tim. So they reached an agreement today on a 3-year, $4.8 million contract extension per his agent, Paul Sheehy. How do you say that, Emilio?
Shahi.
Shahi. All right, got it.
Is it
The deal,
like
I was gonna say
the 3rd highest paid long snapper. So, man,
wow,
He's spinning that thing.
so I just want to say the Twitter account
Okay.
just went up there.
Yeah,
Well,
well, play
650
whatever you did. It's got the algorithm blowing up. We almost got 1,000 viewers at this point. That baby is firing.
holy crap! What the
I'm in that
heck just
tater, baby.
happened?
Let's go.
And they they literally log onto the live stream. We're talking about the long snapper.
Don't worry. We'll come around to the oh my god news shortly. Here, give us a second. It's just we're setting it up.
Yeah. All right. HE Soda with the super chat, leaving the room to go mix a drink and grab some Doritos for every PR this year. I just can't take it anymore. Packers PR not hurting me anymore. What are we talking about? PR? What are we talking about?
Is it punt return? Oh, Punt return or press release? I don't know. Clarify, H.E. Soda.
I would say press release.
Press release.
Yeah.
Would be my thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Boys, we made it through, didn't we? Give the people what they want. Snapper talk. There you go.
Hold on. I feel like we got to stay on live for a little bit here, Clay. You got to tell Mandy that, that I don't know why, but there is, like Emilio said, we got almost 1,000 people.
You know why.
What we got going on at X here, bro? I'm on Twisted Tees and Sports praying.
Let's go. Let's go. And judging by the profile pic there, Dalton, thank you for your service. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Noteworthy items. Green Bay retained all 8 of its draft picks from the 25 draft, though 2 defensive linemen, Colin Oliver, and offensive lineman John Williams, will start the season on the PUP list. All right, the Packers' 53-man roster consists of 41 draft picks and 12 undrafted free agents. 32 players were drafted by GM Brian Gutekunst. Bo Melton made the 53-man roster after transitioning from receiver to corner mid-offseason. The second-year veteran had 5 tackles and a pass breakup in 3 preseason games and contributes on special teams as a flyer and jammer on punt units. Former Georgia defensive lineman Nazir Stackhouse made the 53, obviously. So that's at least one undrafted rookie. This is what Jen Wright was talking about. At least one undrafted rookie on their week 1 roster to 21 consecutive years now that's happened. He had 4 tackles and a pass breakup in the preseason. Green Bay kept at least 6 receivers on its initial 53-man roster for the 5th straight year, including cutting 7th-year veteran McCole Hardman, who signed in March after winning 3 Super Bowl rings with the Chiefs. These are just random little tidbits here. I'm going to see if there's anything else that we need to hit on. I think
Omar Brown is interesting there. Placed on IR without designation to return, ending the season unless a settlement is reached. So that may explain why we're thinking maybe no safety on the practice squad. Maybe they reach a settlement if things are looking up for him, long term. I don't know. But I don't know. That's kind of interesting info right there. I saw Wes Hockiewicz had that out earlier today.
Got it. All right.
Wondering if the chat, JJ McQuaid in the chat says, a couple of crazy, surprising cuts today from other teams. I'll admit I didn't have a chance to look through everything that happened. Is there anybody in the chat, if there's a player that maybe you guys think that the Packers should or would sign? I think that'd be an interesting topic.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to comb through them either, to be honest with you, because there was still some coming in kind of late, and there was, conflicting reports on was this player actually on the roster, was he not on other teams? So I try to kind of steer clear of that until the following day. But did you hear of anybody, Emilio, Tim, anybody that caught your all's interest?
Or Emilio, if like over, not to put more homework on your plate while you're trying to eat your Doritos or whatever, but if there was a way we could cross-reference the either free agents or people that got cut with our draft board over the last maybe year or 2 and see if there's somebody that just makes a lot of sense, we could maybe have a little scoop ourselves and try to see if we could call that shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We need a list of who got cut is what we need.
Right. Yeah. And again, it's going to be a circus tomorrow. I like to wait till the smoke settles. You know what I mean? All right, who do we have on our practice squad and just kind of go from there. Or else you end up talking about a lot of stuff that doesn't matter. Not that we haven't done that on this particular show. As United Bates says, now Easton Butler is chiming in. What is going on? And then he said something else. I thought he said that there was serious interest. Is what he said.
Real interest.
And I'm calling McManus in here. Let's go. That's it.
Throw a flag.
Get him in here. Throw a flag.
Yeah, there it is. So, listen, we got a bunch of people in here watching. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you would hit that like button, subscribe if you're here on YouTube. Feel free to click the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. We're going to hang out for a little bit, guys. If any of y'all need to go. I say we continue to comb through Twitter and see if anything else comes down the pike here. Obviously, we're done with our normal content, but this is a unique situation as the Micah Parsons rumors are starting to swirl a little bit. I trust Easton Butler. I'll tell you that.
Dude is plugged in.
Yeah, he's a stand-up dude, man. Stand-up guy for sure. And not that I don't trust anybody else that's talked about it. It's just anytime I hear the 2 first, the second, and the 5th, I know where that originated, and I'm like, I think people are just kind of pulling that off of what was mentioned before. Chuck says Mandy is done with Clay. Mandy left town about an hour ago. She's done. She's already out of here, bub. And yeah, so we gotta figure something out there. Well, wait, but all right, Jacob.
Yes,
we're going into Micah Watch.
Micah Watch.
I said a bad word. Crap just got serious. Okay. What are you willing to give up if it is real? What's the maximum amount of draft capital? Jacob, the beard, is willing to give up for Micah Parsons. And you two gentlemen get ready at the bottom because you're going to be asked this unless y'all want to sign off.
All right. If I actually have to decide on this, I would be willing to give up LVN, and I don't want to. So I don't want to do this. Basically, what Dennis just said, I'd go LVN and 1,
I don't want to
2.
do this.
I'd give up LVN and maybe a 2, like a second round pick or a third round, maybe like, I hate saying it again, but like Romeo Dobbs and a second or something like that. But I don't want to do that. But if you force me to do something like they've done at the office, to me, it's just not worth it, man. It is odd though. I will say this. It's odd to me that we kept 5 DNs and only 4 linebackers. I'm not saying there's any writing on the wall that they knew something was going to happen, but it was a little bit surprising to me that both of those rooms are a lot lower than I thought they would be as far as the rotation goes. But that's all I got to say about that.
My answer is easy. Nothing. No one, nothing, nobody, no money, nothing, 0. I like our guys. Go ahead, Emilio.
So you would not trade for Micah Parsons?
No, I would not. I would absolutely not.
Got it.
I would either. Just for the record, I don't want to do it.
Okay, so Jacob and Tim would not trade for Micah Parsons. Okay, got it. Go ahead, Emilio.
Yeah, I mean, I've been opposed to it the whole time. Obviously, the dude's pretty elite in his own aspect. If we're doing it, I would want to bite all the bullet off I possibly could right away and say, all right, give him a 20, give him a 26 first and a third and walk away if they don't take it. Because I mean, I'm setting the price if I'm going over there and taking a guy who's under contract for you for potentially the next 3 years. I'm gonna walk into Ross and put my own yellow sticker on that thing and tell him what I'm giving him. And then we can worry about the money later on. Obviously, we kind of move some around. Depends on who leaves, the O-line and stuff moving forward. But and the TV deal coming up, so maybe the money wouldn't be as bad. But it's just kind of tough. You're bringing in somebody from the outside that's going to be getting paid almost more than your quarterback and more than anybody else on defense who's tenured and has been there for a long time. And again, that locker room aspect, we got rid of Rasul Douglas, who we thought was a dog in the locker room and a good locker room guy. I just wouldn't want to bring a dude that's, laying on the training table in the middle of a game. I think it was Ross Tucker talking about it. He's like, dude, if I were the Cowboys, how are you bringing a dude? How are you letting him sit in? You know what I mean? Like if you're paying the dude, you're working when you're there. I don't want you sitting there and because you'd have those kids in high school all the time. Like you can't be a distraction if you're just going to be sitting there. You can't be the dude that's taking everybody's mind away from the game. That would be my only hang up.
I got you. Now, I think that's a legit hang up there too, man, for sure.
Yep.
JJ McQuaid in the chat says Eagles cut Antoine Powell, Ryland. Yeah, Pat's cut edge Braden Swinson.
Ooh.
That's interesting there, right? And Rams cut Chris Paul Jr. A couple surprising cuts today. Was Chris Paul Jr. a rookie this year?
I thought all those.
He was the linebacker from Ole Miss. He was actually my middle linebacker in Ultimate Team for a while.
Well, wasn't Swinson the DN LSU guy?
Didn't we talk about him being undersized? Am I thinking right,
yeah.
Emilio?
Yeah, he's a little bit small, but he really was a decent Mike. Powell Ryland we had at 140, 149. He was above Colin Oliver, actually. He was 4 spots above Colin Oliver. Mm-hmm. And Braden Swinson.
That was the LSU kid that we liked, right?
Who?
Braden Swinson.
No, you're thinking of who's he thinking of?
Carson Schwarzenegger.
No. LSU edge. Was it Braden Swinson?
I swear it was.
Oh yeah, Braden Swinson, LSU edge. He had an 80 grade.
That was the one. Yeah, that's the one that Greg Cosell absolutely loved.
Right, he was a captain, cheese emoji, hard eyes.
That's what I'm saying.
There? What happened there?
I mean, Rams got a real nice young D line right now, so maybe.
Chris Paul was our fifth best linebacker, just behind Danny Stutzman.
Hey, let's go.
So Braden Swinson and Chris Paul are actually in the same exact tier 10, in between an 80 to a 90 grade, both of them getting cut.
Got it. Good stuff.
There's potential out there.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for these guys that you had a high draft grade on. Let's assume that what was the grade on Swinson again, Emilio? What was the number of grade that we had on?
Was an 80.7.
Let's assume that Goody had him in his top 100, right?
Baron Sorrell, really quickly. Baron Sorrell was a 121.4 out of Texas.
There you go.
Yeah, wow.
You're probably open to bringing a guy like that in. Get a look at him. Now that's where you got to keep a little bit of flexibility on the 53 because you can't just put him on the practice squad. You got to bring him in, put him on the 53. That's what we're saying. Like maybe you get him in and you realize what the other teams are seeing on him, right, or was not seeing on him, and you cut him loose. So, respect the one that says drink every time Parsons is mentioned.
Just so you guys know, Tim in the chat can tell that you're visibly sick to your stomach and that you hate the Micah Parsons talk. I agree. I do.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to hate on anyone's opinion. And like we've discussed this ad nauseum already. We're not knocking Micah Parsons. He's a monster on the football field, but I just don't see how you auction off that much capital to bring one guy into your team and basically give up on everything you've been building these last couple of years. And then the next couple of years for that matter. So,
yeah, I think the real question is, for me personally, is what would the actual offer be? That's the big thing for me. Like I would love to have Micah Parsons, but what's the price? And everybody's kind of all over the joint with the price. I've been pretty vocal. I would go first and a third is what I'd be willing to give up. If I got to pay him 41 to 45 million per, I'd go a first and a third. That's what I'd be willing to give
from this year. With no player, correct?
That's this year.
See, that's as close as my head can get to a deal for him. Right?
It'd be
keep our personnel, couple picks. Let's go. I could see that at the most.
Now, if you're saying, okay, they would want, LVN in a first.
Yeah.
I could get close to that. I don't look at that deal and go, no, absolutely not. But this talk of 2 firsts, a second, and Rashawn Gary, and that's just absolutely insane.
This talk that if you bring Micah Parsons to Green Bay, that we're automatically winning a Super Bowl, like that's. I mean, we've already talked about the Reggie White comparisons, which is asinine. I think we're getting way too willing to put all our eggs in one basket and bet the farm on one player. It's a team game, guys, and we've been building a team for several years. And as Clayton always says, right, we're building a team, not collecting talent. And I disagree.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't feel like the type of locker room guy that we deserve in Green Bay. That would be you guys know how cheap I am. I am the biggest cheapskate of all time.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm more of an emotion guy, a locker room guy. I want to have good vibes. Like I just don't think that he would be the type of person that would mesh well with the city, with the locker room, with the community. I could be wrong. And if it happens, then I'll embrace him with open arms. But yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a guy. What is he? 20? He's 26 years old, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get his best years, no doubt about it. You put that much capital into somebody, though, man. That's why the money is a big factor for me, because all it takes is you're one knee injury away from tying up $40 million of your cap. I mean, what would the percentage be on that? I don't even know what the percentage of the cap would be there. What is the salary cap this year? Does anybody know right offhand by chance? The actual total?
I want to say it was like 270 something.
What it was. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go with 2025 NFL salary cap. It is 279 million. So do the math right there, boys. 279. Let's just call it 41 million on the low end of what some people are projecting it would be, right? So
I mean, that's too much, man. That's that's quarterback style money almost. You know what I mean? For most, and we look at what happened with, obviously that Browns deal when they got, was it Watson? That was the dumbest thing that's ever happened. But that's still ruining that organization years later. I don't want to dip that much money into one single player that isn't necessarily known for being, the best locker room guy. That's just, to me, seems like you're asking for a problem. And like Tim said, we've been working so hard building this team up, being the youngest team, really working it through the draft, having a lot of up and coming players, signing smart free agents at smart times in their career that benefit the team. I just, and then I understand this. Donovan says scared money don't make money. I understand that, but
that's something I say all the time. I've actually got it wrote on a whiteboard. That's how I've had to. And listen, I'm the most conservative person you'll ever meet financially. Is like I spoil my wife rotten. Right, you go buy whatever you want to get. Me, I'm over here eating a frozen pizza. You know what I mean? But scared money don't make money, man. That's a fact. Now, if you miss though, I keep coming back to, and I know people don't like this comparison, this analogy. Like Greg Rice says, overpay for great, right? He's great. There's no doubt. Let's pull up his PFF. Let's just take a quick gander here. I want to see exactly.
I'm willing to overpay for great. I'm just not willing to, auction the future of the franchise in the mix to do it. Right. That's why I'm with you. Money and draft picks. Now you're starting to get me, interested a little bit. But when you start talking about Rashawn Gary or LVN and all these guys, like, stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. His PFF grade is very heavily leaning on his pass rush ability and his pass.
We talked about that the other night. It's like if he's on the field, does the opposing team just assume he's rushing the passer every down? Like,
right.
But they can kind of keyhole on that. And obviously we know how good he is against double teams and things like that. But I mean, that is what he is. He is a pass rushing edge defender.
Right. Very true. So if you look at the run defense grade, right, and that's the downside to his game, 65, 68, 73, 59. That's going backwards. So let me say that properly. Starting in 2021, 59, 73, 68, 65. And I know there's people out there who go, well, you're not paying them to stop the run. Okay, then don't come in here complaining when somebody gashes you for a 45-yard gain because that dude rushed 8 yards up the field beyond the pocket or where the pocket would be.
You mean like Aaron Jones did a couple years ago in Dallas?
Yeah. So in terms of a pass rusher, though, 91, 93, 92, 93, he's been a great pass rusher since he got in the league. There's no two ways about it. What are you willing to sacrifice, though? Because that's the other thing that many people don't look at is when you give something up, when you say, all right, we're going to focus in on this on defense, you got to give something up. There's no defense. There's no call where it's like, okay, we're going to take away the pass. We're going to take away the run. We get pressure on the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Everything's just going to be perfect. That's not how it works. Last year, we chose to key in on the run. We finished second in yards per carry allowed. I remember damn near 2 decades of Packer football where Packer fans were so over the fact that teams were running the ball down our throat. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday. We finally get that buttoned up, right? And again, complain about the pass rush, we were 8th in sacks. Well, you take away the 3 best games, okay, take away the 3 best games from every team. If you're going to compare apples to apples, compare apples to apples. Don't do that with the Packers and then go to another team and say, okay, well, here's how good they were at rushing the passer, but you don't remove their best 3 games. That makes sense. So that's what you're giving up, man.
Yeah.
If Micah Parsons, and here's the other thing. If we call a defense like we did last year, Jeff Hafley, which would we all agree? Is there anybody in the chat that did not like the way Jeff Hafley called the defense last year? Let me know. There may be somebody out there, and we can agree to disagree. I have not met one Packer fan that's like, I don't like the way Hafley calls defense. Right? The reality is he didn't let those guys pin their ears and go. He just didn't do it. With Micah Parsons, that's what you would do with him. Pin your ears and go get the quarterback. Well, you're going to have teams run right at his ass. And that's going to be a liability on the edge, unless you kick him back to stack backer like they did his rookie year, and now you become a little more unpredictable in that regard. So, United Bates on their ears just wrong.
So the only thing that gets me on Micah here is, you're looking at, there's your 103 total pressures, Clay, that was picked from 2023. There's that, but 2024 70, right? Okay, so that kind of dropped. Go over to the tackles. 2021, yes, rookie guy, 61 tackles. Love it. You're putting it out there. Drops to 37, almost in half. Okay, not too worried. 34 last year, 26, and his missed tackle percentage is almost climbing. Besides, is 103 and 23.
Is that real?
He missed 16. This is according to PFF, where we can't look at the tape, right?
Yeah.
16% missed tackle rate last year. That's, boys, again, getting a hell of a pass rusher, but at what expense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
20 million per. Oh, sign me up. 30 million per. You get over 40 million per, and you're missing 16% of your tackles. That's a tough look. It's a real tough look. So, it's interesting though, man, for sure. Let me comb through Twitter one last time before we wrap up here, man. Anything else you guys want to add to the Micah Parsons talk here? Is obviously there's multiple people talking about it. Easton Butler, the more recent one, and I've already seen people they're not tagging Easton Butler, but they're bashing Easton Butler like he's not in the know-how. I just absolutely love how people who have a well-established following on Twitter are so quick to bash other people like that. It cracks me the hell up. They act like I call them the gatekeepers, and I don't give a rat's ass to make somebody mad or not. They've established themselves within the Packer community, and we will tell you what to think. We will tell you what to think.
Emilio, Tim, what do you guys think about H.E. Soder's comment? Can you hide, basically in quotations saying, can you kind of mask what Parsons is going to do on that defense against the run with linebackers like Cooper, Walker, and Hopper? What would your take be on that, considering, though, like we mentioned it in earlier podcasts, that the majority of the time that 4-3 base is like 15% of the snaps. The majority of them was the nickel 4-2-5, right? So who are you taking on off the field to put those guys all on the field at the same time would be my question.
And I don't think you can. If you're going to put an emphasis on the run, then your pass D is going to suffer, right? We talked about guys having to be versatile and be able to touch spy and get out in coverage and things like that. So if you're going to fire a guy like Micah Parsons off the edge, or have him mugging a gap or something on occasion, and just going after the quarterback, if you're going to try and mask that with stack backer play, I think that's going to take away from our middle of the field coverage against like RPO and, pass plays and things like that. I mean, we actually saw that in the first handful of preseason reps in that first game, that it was just over the middle was constantly wide open. We were getting lit up. And I think that's because of, what you give up when you're focusing on the run versus the pass. And I think when you get a guy like Micah Parsons into this kind of system, that's what we would probably have to account for. Like, he's not terrible against the run, but it's not great, right? So I don't know if you can quote unquote hide that, especially given all the tape that Micah Parsons has out there, right? He's no stranger to anybody in this league right now. So
it's kind of tough, especially if you have him at edge. You're asking him to set the edge on a counter, set the edge on a sweep, on an outside zone, all that. He can do it, obviously, but sometimes to take away somebody like that, you're running at him in general. You're trying to attack him, double team him, push him off the ball, things like that, and it would potentially work if Gary's tearing it up on the other side. You're bringing maybe a blitz from the opposite side. You're trying to work around it. It's just. Man, I just don't know about the capital that we'd be giving up. But if it happens, it happens. Well, I guess we'll see tomorrow morning when we wake up. Be like Christmas morning, Jacob.
Yeah, Matt Schneidman has not tweeted anything about it. Matt Schneidman, as you guys know, he's plugged in as anybody. Tom Silverstein as well. He hasn't tweeted anything about it. Andy Herman said, okay, this Micah Parsons thing, hearing buzz from multiple people, still not holding my breath, but it doesn't seem like nothing. So he's hearing some stuff behind the scenes as well. So, there you go with that. That's the update there. And again, nothing from Matt Schneidman to this point. Let me comb through a couple more here. You guys keep on talking.
But everybody that's on Twitter, you can click on Clayton's account on X and go ahead and hop over to YouTube, sub, like, appreciate that. But yeah, man, we'll be covering Packers daily. I think that, we might have something, right, guys? I don't know. We'll see.
Let's see what Kay Adams has said here lately.
Yeah, let's get the real info. We got to talk to the unofficial GM right now.
No, hey man,
Hey.
people rolled their eyes about McKinney, and boy, oh boy, she delivered on that one. Didn't she? McKinney, and then there was another one too. What? No, she was trying to get Devontae Adams back. What it was?
Yeah, she was going hard to get Tay Adams back. That would have been cool, right? Kay Adams gets Tay Adams back to Green Bay, but lo and behold, he's a Ram. What are you going to do?
I will not stand for the Easton Butler slander, though. I know that.
That's right. Let's go. Line them up, Clayton. Let's start the list.
To belt the ass out here. Give me the audio. Go ahead, Jacob. What were you going to say, man?
Yeah, just if I had to play devil's advocate, Donovan Schilling brings up a good point. He says, okay, guys, but imagine Parsons with actually good coaching. I'd argue, too, a good atmosphere, a good owner, or multiple million owners, and, just like an actual environment where he is held to account. It's not Jerry's world in Green Bay. When you come into Green Bay, there's an expectation of how you're going to hold yourself as a professional, as an athlete, as a member of the community. And we've seen it happen with multiple other players where, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Brenton Cox Jr. was considered a no-fly zone for most teams. And we brought him into Green Bay, and the guy has been an absolute saint, in my opinion. And sometimes it just takes a change of scenery to kind of, and let's not forget, we've talked about how young the guy is. So if I was making an argument for him, that's the one that I would, maybe provide, being that Jeff Hafley seems to be kind of a whisper in that sort of way, being a very good coach, not just disciplinary or anything, but not just scheming. He just seems like he's able to communicate well with his players and get the best out of them. That would be, if you were going to make an argument for Micah, that's the argument I'd want to hear, but I don't want to do it. I still don't want to do it.
How many of these would we have to give up for Micah Parsons?
Oh boy.
Too many, too damn.
I mean, put a couple Taco Bells out of business doing that. Let me tell you.
I'm gonna get the NFL Pro stats up real quick, just so we can kind of cross-check that missed tackle. Now they're not going to show missed tackle percentage; they'll just simply give you the.
They might show you this though.
Can't even see the screen, but I'm sure it's something outrageous. No doubt about it.
Sit your butt outside.
I'm so glad it's football season, guys. My God, this
brings up a good point. It says Parsons would be a Cox process stopper. I don't want that. It'd be a process stopper for all of them, for LVN, it just Mosby, Deslin, anybody, Barron. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. And that being said, if it happens, I'll be like, I always wanted to do it.
I'm getting a jersey. Right. Yeah, so they're showing on NFL Pro 43 tackles is what they've got listed for Micah. 32 stops. 32 stops. Like I said, Rashawn Gary had a much higher run stop percentage than Micah Parsons did. He had 12 sacks last year. His pressure percentage was 19%. That would have led the Packers. Obviously, Gary and Brenton Cox Jr. led the Packers at 13%. So again, it's real straightforward. Here's what I think's happened. Me personally, I think that Jerry is going to ask for a Herschel Walker type deal for Micah, and I don't think the Packers will get to that point. That's what I think. I think there's real interest. I think they're talking behind the scenes, all those things. But I think what it comes down to is Jerry holds the cards. That's the thing. Like, he's got his rights for 3 years. People, it's just a 1-year deal. No. If Jerry says, I'm not touching anything with the contract, you're going to be a Cowboy this year. Micah has two options: play for the Cowboys or sit and not get paid and then have to revisit this again next year. Period. Case closed, right? Now, let's say he does play this year. Next year, Jerry can franchise tag him again. And then Jerry can franchise tag him again. They have him for 3 years, no matter what David Mulligetta says, right? So has Jerry handled this good? Absolutely not. When is Jerry handling
it? He does hold all the cards right now. He really
does. There's no doubt about it. So I say that because that's what gives him the power to tell the Packers, I want a Herschel Walker type deal here. Yeah. That's the kind of package I want. So that's what it comes down to. So that's why I have a hard time believing he would accept a first and a third, and that's where I'm at. I would give a first and a third. So that's where we're at. So anything else, boys? Anything at all? We'll get ready to wrap this up. I'm going to go downstairs, and I don't know what the hell I'm going to do to get myself out of the doghouse this evening, boys. It's going to be bad.
Bates. What a guy.
Oh, Bates, thank you so much, buddy. Tell them about it, Amelia, while I comb through one more time.
Oh, Bates is the guy because he has gifted 20 Packer Fan Total Access memberships on YouTube. So anybody listening on Twitter, even if you're just in the chat on YouTube, even if you just pull up the video and are in here, potentially could get your hands on one of those gifts. But yeah, I mean, that'll get you put onto the wheel, the Larry McCarron Pinky wheel. That can win you, what is that, weekly, every other week, every couple weeks?
How about these hands?
Ahead and take the 90-degree there out route of the Pinky, and we're going to get that baby spinning. And whoever wins that, go ahead and win you a potential card, jersey, memorabilia, whatever. So, yeah, hang around.
There you go. Thank you so much, Bates. We appreciate you. Round the horn one last time here, boys. Anything else y'all want to hit on before we wrap up? Anything at all?
No, like Emilio just said, if you guys are listening in Twitter or watching on Twitter, try to switch over to YouTube so that in the future we get your comments a little more quickly and easier there. And we're going to be doing this all season long. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more drama, a lot more rumors and stuff like that to cover. So while it's all quiet tonight on the front, I think that we will see some shakeups for sure tomorrow with some more free agent signings, guys getting released, guys getting swapped, that whole thing. So I think it's going to be an interesting season to say the least.
Oh yeah, we got some OGs with a couple of wins there. Mike Hebring got gifted a membership. Blake B got gifted. Johnny
Nice.
B.
Nice.
Who else? Packers Daily. Rob Westerman got a membership.
Rob Westerman got a
Rob, nice.
Dude, if he wins, let's spin that wheel. Let's get Rob one of these, man. But let's go.
Jacob Westendorf tweeted out an hour ago, Jerry, this is God. I want you to send him to Green Bay. We'll throw back to the Reggie days. So, all right, that's it, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Appreciate everybody. If Micah does get traded to the Packers here this evening, I may be up here on the couch in the game room anyway. I may go live. You know what I mean? That's probably what will end up happening. So, but we really appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Again, I would use caution on the rumors, but also stay plugged in the people that you trust. Like I said, man, Easton Butler's been good until you get, to me, the one that sticks out the most, Andy Herman saying, hey, there's something real behind the scenes. Now, whether they'll, meet the requirements to get it done, and I think it's still a stretch, but we'll see. And Kay Adams, obviously, she's the one. That's where this started, right? She stirred the whole pot. Am I thinking right?
Yeah, she can do whatever she wants, man.
Jacob, sir, you were out of control. She's not even a cop. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. We'll see y'all tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central for PTA Live, where we will talk about the practice squad additions, and we may even start to dive into a little Packers Lions talk, start to get a little scouting report put together. And I'm eager to revisit their injury situation to kind of see, because I know the Packers, last I checked, they are 1.5-point favorites at home against Detroit. So I think somebody said there's only one game this season that the Packers aren't favored, which is really cool. So, yeah. Respect oranges. There's always cosplay. Unbelievable. Faith, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you, man. You're too kind. Also, want to give a shout-out to Aaron Rodgers for the Super Chats earlier. Shout-out to Nick McSwain, who's been a member here for 11 months. And H.E. Soda with the Super Chat as well. You guys are too kind. Make sure you check out our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We're going to be giving away an autographed Lucas Van Ness rookie card this weekend. Everybody take care. God bless. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Here we go. We're out. Bye, guys.